these corrupt politicians to rule over them and then do anything, you know what I mean? So get a bit of backbone on all this lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right, Alan. Alan, is the link working? I've put the link in the chat.
I see the link, but
I want to bring him.
Alan said his special guest tomorrow in Behind Closed Doors is Stan Robinson. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about. Yeah, it's good. I want him just to speak about it. I want him to talk a little bit about it. Because it's Alan, so we managed to find him, but he did speak. So we've got Alan here. He managed to speak at this event. He did a rousing speech. But when I say John Lawrence is here as well.
The Times should get more a democratic run. But my name's John Lawrence, National Housing Party. Thank you very much.
Guys, most of you know me from my child abuse background in state institutional abuse. Now, I often talk about Beecher, which never gave any of the children any remedy. I'm going to show you a photograph in a minute. And that photograph is my own sister. I want you to look at this photograph, guys. And when you look at this photograph, concentrate on that poor child's eyes. I've traced back 143 years, right, of state institutional abuse. Children that are in the welfare system are lost. Their souls are destroyed. Their innocence is taken. I actually often say, you take a child's innocence and it's gone forever. I go around the country and I do a lot of filming and I try to speak where I can. The most important thing, Billy's hit on a lot of things today with ICSA. How can you have judges, senior police officers, politicians and councillors talking about child abuse when they're predominantly at the forefront of it? Politicians, I call Westminster Westmonster, because the paedophile ring in Westminster still exists to this very, very day.
Yeah.
The reason why nothing's done about child abuse today is because it goes so high, it goes to Parliament.
Yeah.
And the paedophile palace, which is Westminster. This picture I'm going to put up now. Look at this picture. Look at the eyes. Concentrate on the eyes and the hurt in that poor child's eyes. Remember, if you thought of every child that was being abused at this very, very moment, and it's happening, guys, all the time. It's never ceased. The poor hurt in that poor girl's eyes. Look at the poor hurt in that girl's eyes. Look, can you see? She's crying within. The agony of physical, sexual, mental abuse to child live with her forever. There's more of a story to this, I can tell you more. Even on leaving the children's home, she was put on a train, and somebody from the children's home said to my poor sister, would you like to go up with the driver, you'll be safer. So they put her up in the driver's carriage. They don't want to put this poor little girl in the carriage on her own. And the driver abused her in the cab. The abuse that we suffer in this country is all over. It's not just Rochdale, it's everywhere. Rochdale has a very, very, very bad problem. And I'm glad when I hear the likes of Billy and John that are going to stand in their constituents and do something about the child abuse. All I'm going to say, guys, there are other speakers going to come up. I could talk for a long, long time about ICSA. I could talk about government. I could talk about your councils. I could talk about your police. They're all complicit.
Yeah.
If their colleagues are involved, they're complicit. I don't care what anybody says. There is so much to this. You stand next to a person that's involved in it, and you wear the uniform of that establishment or whatever the case might be, then you're involved. Save our children, everybody. Thank you. Okay, guys.
So that's Alan. So let's make sure I've got this. So that was Alan with us. Alan, that was Alan the other day kicking ass, giving a rousing speech and went in on them. And it's true. The corruption at Westminster is grave. The corruption's right at the top of this system. I mean, Alan went right at him. He went right at him. And, you know, the police were watching, the council were watching, and Alan told them straight, like he went right at the jugular. And he's quite right. The corruption is at the top of the system. This is why I say to people, if it doesn't work for you, leave it alone. That's why I don't vote. I can't actively support those in Westminster because they don't give a fuck about anybody else but themselves. I can't support them. That's why I don't vote for them. Because I don't support them. I don't agree with the corruption. I don't agree with the things that they do. If it doesn't work for you, leave it alone. And they've never done anything for the people in this country. Never. So I don't bother with them at all whatsoever. I take a stance like Alan has taken. I don't bother with them. But I'm just glad Alan went up there and he exposed them. And that's the best thing he can do is expose them. Because the corruption, as Alan correctly and has put it bluntly, is across the board. I've said this on the Secretary Kerry. This is across the board. It's going on all over the place. I agree with Alan. It goes on all over the place. It's disgusting what happens. And I think they can get away with it, these people. I've always said I do not support any of these people and what they do. And they need to be exposed. So that rally the other day was brilliant because Billy spoke, John Lawrence spoke, Alan did a rousing speech, he spoke. They were really good, the speakers there. And they all was going at the council, all of them was exposing the system and exposing the fights that we were having. So it was great speakers, great energy, great speakers there the other day. It was absolutely superb. I watched it. I was watching it online. I was watching Alan and John Lawrence because obviously I know Alan and John personally. And they did brilliant. They were brilliant, and I'm glad there's people that are out there going at the system and letting them know, but you're not being messed with. So yeah, they don't like it when you start exposing them. So it's great that we've got good people out there putting in real work. So I mean, I'm fortunate with we've got the likes of Alan, John, Billy, all of them. 1 minute. I'm just going to move Alan up. I'm just going to sort this stupid thing out because it's not letting him come on. And I wanted him to say something. 1 minute. I'm going to do it myself. Hopefully that'll do. No, 1 minute. Hopefully I'll be able to bring him up. Just so I can let him speak. Because Alan's got his show tomorrow. He's got a special guest on. So hopefully he can come up and speak. But yeah, he was brilliant the other day. It was a really good event. I'm glad I was able to watch it the other day. It was really positive. I was glad we had people exposing these corrupt, dumbass politicians. I'm just trying to get this sorted. Alright. Oh, it's done it. Or has it done it? I hope it has. Right, hopefully I've sent Alan the thing. Hopefully it'll do it. I've sent him the thing. I've sent the thing out. It should do it. Normally it's pretty good at doing it when I send it out. But yeah, I'm just tired of politicians and all these other idiots just abusing their positions. They do it all the time. It's disgusting. It's just they treat the people like cannon fodder. They're just not bothered. They're just selfish, self-aggrandized, and narcissistic. So I'm just about done with Westminster. I don't trust any of them. I think they're all on the take, like you said, Charles. They're all on the take, and they're all in it for themselves. That's it, and that's the thing that I see consistent with this all the time with these narcissistic. Psychopaths, you know, they're just self-centered psychopaths. They've lost the plot completely. And the more that people realise this, the better it is for the rest of us, because they're only able to get away with this because most people are ignorant of what's really going on, because most people haven't had to deal with the serious elements of the corruption that goes on in this society. Most people have been shielded from it by the government. There's only so many people that have had to deal with the real brutal side of this society, and realise that that the whole system and the people in it against the everyday man and woman, Charles. You know. Right, I've tried to invite Alan, but it won't let me do it for some reason. Now, normally I can do it, and I've tried. I sent the invite.
It says click on 3 dots, let me in by my name.
Yeah, I've done it. Yeah, I've done it. Done that now. That's what I did. It says invite to co-host, but it's not letting me do it for some reason. I did it last time. I did it. Invited as co-host. I did it, and it let me do it. And I clicked on the 3 dots. Participant invited as a co-host. It says that it's done it, but. All right.
He's in, I think.
I think I might have done it.
Yeah, I think he's in, or he's in as a moderator.
No, but I want to make him a co-host so he can actually speak. All right, it's
No, he's
with
co-host
us. He's about to get me. That's good. Yeah, Alan, that was amazing the other day.
Do you know what? Looking back at that, it almost wound me up, because I was speaking, because there were some kids there actually from Knoll View. That was an abusive children's home in that area. And there were some kids there that were abused in the state care. And they were there listening. And they went and said to Billy, that man that spoke, he wasn't talking about Beach Home. He was talking as a survivor. He was talking as one of us. And that hit me. It really, really hit me.
Yeah. They can resonate. They've been through it themselves, so they understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, because is it Knoll View House or Knowles House, Knoll View, something like that? That's synonymous in Rochdale. It goes back to the Cyril Smith days, and crazy events at Cyril Smith and the likes that are around him, and how nothing was done, and how you've got guys like Andy Burnham. What have we learned from this? When we talk about going back to the days of Cyril Smith, going back to the day of Andy Burnham, you know, he stands at the podium and he makes out if he's some sort of victor. He didn't do anything. He had choice.
The people.
Yeah. It's just awful that these politicians are getting paid for actually doing nothing. They're not helping our children. They're doing absolutely nothing. Cleverly, the other day asked for £2.6 billion extra to help house the illegal immigrants in more hotels. They're overspent. What's happening to our NHS? What's happening to our infrastructure? What's happening to our schools, our children of abuse? Every single thing that you can touch on our pensioners, 2.2 million on either eat or heat and poverty. Our veterans, they can't have 5-star hotel. They can't have a dentist and a doctor on call. Could be lucky if we can even get a dentist appointment. It's just so phenomenally, actually perversely sick that our governments no longer represent the British people.
No, they haven't known for a long time. They're always in their own interest and just of rich.
I hate speaking, Dil, and I get Billy. He always asks me, "Are you going to speak, Alan? Are you going to speak?" And I say, "Well, I don't. There's better speakers than me."
And it was lovely to see Jimmy the Hat, and I had a little bit of a chat with Jimmy. And as you know, I went to his wedding when he got married. Me and Jimmy have been friends from the Melanie Shaw days, and only yourself and Charles know all too well about that, and how much I've gone on since then. And I've just been putting some old videos up from 5 years ago, and it goes to show how time goes by. And even in an instance like a light switch, you're talking about Cyril Smith on one hand, Andy Burnham. There's so many years difference in gap. The videos I was doing 5 years ago to today, what's actually changed, apart from a verbal diarrhea that comes out of politicians' mouths in lessons have been learned?
Yeah.
The same nonsense all the time.
They've not
made any progress. They just keep saying it. We've learned from it. What the fuck?
Yeah. They've
not learned anything. They just keep starting the same narrative.
Yeah.
Nothing ever gets done. This is why I get annoyed on, and that's why I don't get involved with it. This nonsense.
And you know, and Charles knows, and you all know all too well, every single person in the comments, everybody watching the show tonight, this is not over yet. You don't think they'll put the election back for the sake of putting it back. There's something going to happen big this year, and the emotions are being, the cogs and emotions are going in place now. Something's going to happen between now and the election.
And
it's all about control.
I said between numerology-wise, February this month and September. I've got you, Alan, on this one. I've got some really interesting stuff on that one, from that front.
Yeah, I've been seeing it. I've been watching it. It's almost like I've been watching the shooting stars. I've been watching the moons, clutching at metaphors to try and make sense of everything. Do you know what I mean? When we talk about the alignment of the stars or whatever the case might be, it's all going to happen, and it's all going to happen this year.
And funny enough, we just talked about Charles having cancer. We've been taken out liver, and Will's, You're right, Alan.
Well, if you're going to dance with the devil, what do you expect? And I know it doesn't take any prisoners, and it's and we can talk about my wife and what happened to my wife and so on and so forth, and how she was treated. But at the end of the day, we could talk about what I was saying just only a few moments ago about politicians and the British public are not represented anymore. Our infrastructure on NHS and everything is just gone. I'm sorry to say it. You've got people sitting in A&E for 22 hours. You've got people waiting for an ambulance for 10 hours. These people are paid. They're paid their way. There are people that have given so much to this country. When I've been at Scampton, there's 59 aircrew that never came back from flying over the Rhine, damning them bombs in the Lancaster bombers. So we could have our right to speak like we're speaking today and our freedoms. And the politicians have taken that and eroded every single thing them pilots have actually died for.
Yeah. See that
across the board. It's kind of fodder, and they don't give a shit about anybody else but themselves.
And all they are now is pawns in their little chess movements.
Yeah.
And we're playing with Russian roulette with the politics of the world. For fuck's sake, we've got enough issues, enough problems going on in this country. Why do we have to be prized and stick our noses in everybody else's business? And our wars that we can't fight, we can't afford to fight, and the ammunitions and the men that we haven't actually got to fight a war, we're just a jigsaw of many, many pieces that's been put together by NATO and the World Health Authorities, and more so because NATO has a lot to do with this as well,
Yeah. No fact like it. Trade
organisation.
Yeah, they're all
in the same club.
So tomorrow night, I've got a guest on tomorrow. He's councillor standing in for UKIP. He's going to really make some good points tomorrow, and I'm going to interview him in the sense that I'm going to get some stuff out of him tomorrow that I'm not going to bounce his head up against the wall or bounce his head off a wall. I'm not going to do that. I'm not like that. But I'm going to do it in a way because I'm getting good at this interviewee larky kind of thing. I think I am anyway. I've had some really, really good guests on. I've had Leon, I've had John Wedger on, I've had Robert Spawn on, I've had Danny Roscoe, Laurie.
Not been here last week.
There's so many different guests that I've had on just recently. I had some blinding guests, and it's nice when you can hold a show together with somebody and listen to different perspectives of people's opinions and voices and hear what they've got to say. And it all adds up to one thing. We've all had enough.
I agree.
Definitely agree with that one. And the weather gets said on Billy was really good. The same thing. Everybody's seen the group and the best following I agree.
It's like when you came to Leeds and I was asked to speak, David Sunderland said to me, "You're going to get up and speak." And I'm, "Oh, for Christ's sake." I didn't really want to speak, but I got up and spoke. And I didn't do a bad job with the Leeds one. I got up and spoke Rochdale. I didn't pre-write anything or anything. I just went up there and stood up there. I stood on the podium or I stood on the wall as a little kind of platform. And I did what I had to do and took Margie's photograph. That's all I needed. The little boy inside me has to speak out now because the man will speak out for that boy, so to speak. I've used that metaphor before. The little girl was my sister, and them eyes, I should have put the picture of myself and put the two up there. And if they'd have seen the eyes, it would have been heart-wrenching because she was crying within. And you can see it, the hurt in those eyes.
Yeah, you can see it.
And what's changed? We keep banging the same pissing drum so many times. What's fucking changed? Nothing's changed. In my 60 years of politics, or in the reign of politics that I know of, and you can go right back, it doesn't matter. And when I talk about 143 years, I'm also talking about the workhouses as well. What became the first thing, our children were slaves. Our children cleaned the chimneys, went down the mines and all sorts of things. They were child slaves 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, many moons ago, several hundred years ago. They were child slaves.
I've got information about that. You know about that as well.
They went in the workhouses. From the workhouses, the workhouse became, when you talk about the Greater London Council, the GLC, when you talk about the County Council of London, when you talk about everything that rolls on to now the borough councils. The only difference is nowadays, a lot of their services that run today by councils, although we pay these hyper gross amounts of money to councils for services, have all been privatised, basically. Yeah. And these companies are making millions and millions of pounds. Why the fuck the councils can't make these millions of pounds and put them back into the services, I do not know. They allow private businessmen to come in and run these for profit. And our children's homes today even are run by private companies like the Keys Group, where they found children are being cling filmed, even to this very, very day, in punishments. And where you touched on the care homes, where you're getting migrants that are working in looking after our elderly, right? And looking after our elderly, and they're beating them black and blue. I put a post up the other day about and a video of what's happening in their care home. They put a camera in a photograph near her bedside because they saw the bruises on her body, put it on it, and the camera picked up all the abuse that she's been suffering. And that is what's happening. Why don't the politicians do something about that? Why don't the politicians do something about child abuse? Why don't the politicians do something about our curriculum where they're trying to educate children into sexualization at age 3? The whole fucking world has gone completely and utterly bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely. Chaos,
absolute chaos.
Yeah, I try to get as much out as I can because of the time essence, and try to sometimes speed it up to get as much out of me as I can with my little tiny brain that tries to work overtime. But they're all right. All I ever try to do is make a little bit of difference. The numbers aren't great. I know the numbers aren't great, but I will do it to the day I die for the simple reason: if I one voice. And as you heard in that clip that you showed, there was a few people shouting out Alan. I had thousands of people shouting my name out at Nottingham. I'm not worried about people shouting my name out. It's that people hear what I've got to say and respond. Because then somebody else is aware of what other people have gone through. So it echoes the chambers. And that echo that you hear is resounding. It will roll on and roll on and roll on, and it'll rattle in people's ears for a little while afterwards. And that, if I can make a difference and try and bring some sort of difference to it. You know, I'm nothing special. I've had people call me a legend. I'm not a fucking legend. I'm just a normal guy. I'm a guy that feels it's my duty as a child abuse survivor, knowing that I full well won't get justice because of the fucking corruption, right? Know full well that I won't get justice or remedy, or will get remedy. And I've heard today, funny enough, should say it, a beach jump survivor that was in the same cottages as me died. Died a horrible death through cancer. And the way he died, it went all over his body, lymph glands, lungs, brain, and everything. And he choked on his own lungs because the fluids, he was drowning on his own fluids in the end. But at the end of the day, he got abused and so on and so forth. And he goes cruelly. There are so many fucking evils in this world, and there are so many politicians that are fucking really, really taking the piss out of the people of this country. They're non-representative of the people that they don't deserve. Billions of pounds have gone missing from the fucking... There's a two-tilt system. One at the top, maybe for public or whatever the case might be, but one underneath, which they pull out for them fucking selves.
Cheers, Alan.
No worries.
So you're gonna have on what's his name again tomorrow?
I've got Stan Robinson.
Yeah.
Stan is part of co-founder of Voice of Wales, which are doing very, very well. I've had some good in. I've got links with Tommy, and I've done a lot of work there. Anne-Marie was on their show earlier on tonight.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie I interviewed at Scampton last week. They interviewed Katie Hopkins the other week. Katie I did at Stradey Park. So we know of it through going around the country and doing what we do, and they are part of what I do, and Phil Watkins and a few other people do in filming it and trying to make a difference. John and a few other people standing out there as councillors, and hopefully Billy standing as a councillor for Rochdale. And they're actually, I think they're actually shitting themselves. We've got two things here. They're shitting themselves in the council offices at Rochdale because they know somebody's going to come in here and kick some fucking ass. No, you don't do it like that anymore. We need change, and we need it to fucking different and start putting people in their fucking places. And the same is the police are shitting themselves knowing that Tommy is going to fucking have a big demo in Oldham. They don't want it. They don't want it on their
roughly.
Which the one in Tommy one?
Yes.
23rd of March.
Okay, so that's not long way, so it's just a bit over a month.
Yeah. I should be there. I should be filming it. I should be in court for Jackie. And just let me... Have you got 2 seconds?
Yeah. You can be, no problem.
I'm just going to show you something quickly. This is a first off. You ought to be the first one to see this. So I've got an envelope here. I've been doing some work for Jackie and her case. Now, I'm just going to show you something. In this case is a video that I've done. I've slowed it up to really, really slow motion. So I've now put it on a USB stick, and I should be handing it to her brief in Isleworth on the 21st of this month. There's the dongle with the evidence on it. It's all on that. All the evidence in slow motion about the police, not her assaulting the emergency workers. They knocked her out of her scooter, a disabled woman out of her scooter. And what I've done is I've blown up the pictures and put arrows on them, exactly what happened of Jackie and her scooter. And there you are, you can see the barriers there where we were standing. They come around that side, and I put arrows on them. And I've done 6 different pictures like that. And you can clearly see the police officer's foot's going towards her front wheel. So I've got all this evidence, and I've got many, many more photographs like that where you can see his foot in another photo is clearly... Where are we? Can you see that?
Yeah, you can see it's completely towards.
His foot is going completely towards. In one, he's moving, in another one is in, and then as a result of it... Can you see that?
There you go. Yeah, brilliant.
So, yeah, I've done it all, and these are the evidence. I've got loads and loads of papers I've done. I've done it all on a USB stick, all the photographs, USB, all the evidence is going to be handed to solicitors.
Right.
We've elected to go to Crown Court because Charles has told Jackie that the Crown Court. I said the same, exactly the same. And be heard by your peers rather than fucking and the guilty. Verdict of getting magistrates courts is unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
ridiculous.
All I'm trying to do, Derek, Adele, is just trying to help. That's all I try to do. You know, and what I get pissed off with, it's all this infighting and arguments about people when they want to. It's about egos and about self-righteous people and doing everything for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
There's too much shit going on in this world for people to start fucking arguing and fighting and trolling. Forget about it.
That's one divide and rule.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm going to jump out, but I want to just jump on and say thank you very much for letting me come on for a moment. Been doing some work today, so I'm in my work clothes. I do apologise. But yeah, I'm out there and I'm active, and I will do it to the day I die.
Good. You did a great job watching it. You were fantastic.
Go on, Charles.
Oh, Alan, another thing you need to do is pace.
Say again?
Pace.
Pace?
Home office, pace.
Yeah.
How is pace rap?
Oh, yeah. It's we talked about the Nolan principles and the Bangalore principles and the sixth judiciary or seventh judiciary under what the judges are supposed to adhere to, integrity, impartiality, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You know all about that. So, yeah, I was working with a solicitor last time we went down, and I was saying all these things to her anyway. And she said to me about this evidence, and now I've actually got it all together. The next stage is when I meet them next time, instead of talking about it, I can hand it to them.
Yeah.
I'll see you all later, guys.
All right. Cheers. Much appreciated. I'll be with you tomorrow. I'll be watching.
Okay, mate. Cheers. Thanks everybody in the chat. Love the chat.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Dan. Thank you for coming on.
No worries.
Yeah, use the Pace Act against them. Sort of thing, corrupt police.
All right, Charles, I'm going to let you finish us off then. Cheers.
Yeah. Well, thank everybody for listening, and all Roy, Sophie, Spear Thrower, Annette, and all the others. Well, oh, wrong one. Come on. Oh, no. So everybody. So from Ukraine, Nostrovia, Poca.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, Charles. And just while you're at it, everybody, Spear for us put the link in for the Foxhole. So please join us in the Foxhole, so you can come over and join us if you want and chill in Foxhole for a bit. I'll probably go over and see him. But yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, please come and join us in the Foxhole. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate that, and have a great evening. I appreciate. We'll be back next week. Alan is on tomorrow, as you know. He's going to be doing his show tomorrow, so please come and support. I will be in tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll be finished work, so I should be able to come in and at least be in the chat to listen in. So yeah, please get involved in our show tomorrow. And yeah, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate being here. I know for all being well. Me and Charles will be again next week. As ever. Charles, have a good week, and I'll see you again soon.
Yeah, no problem. I'm saying to you, Delroy, and say to all the audience and everybody listening, watching, sort of thing. But basically, I always say the mafia gangs operating at Westminster and all this lot, you know what I mean? And they all get taught the same language to speak, you know what I mean? Lessons learned, sort of thing. Oh, it's not in our remit and all this lot, you know what I mean? Sort of thing. We're not allowed to act on that because it's somebody else's job to do that. Gatekeepers. So anyway, pocker everybody. And from the Strawman, pocker. Oh. Right, catch you later, Joe.